Hey, this is Dave. In this video I'm going to go over setting up par levels in Cherry. Now, par levels are set up in two different ways and both happen from the Manage Items page. The first way has actually its own set of videos. I'm just going to point it out to you and you can watch the videos from that page. Right here you'll see there's page help for the individual item setup, and in that video I discuss setting up par levels on an item by item basis. This video we're going to focus on, and I'm returning to the items page. In this video I'm going to focus on setting up the par levels in bulk. It's a faster way of setting things up using an Excel-like chart that you can see by clicking on the Edit Par Level button. And on this page, what you'll see is down the left-hand side of the page is a list of all the different products that you have on your master inventory list. You also have the different units that we've chosen in the subsequent or in the previous setup videos for our different counting units. We have the LCU and the SDU here. And we have the item category, and then we have the ordering days. Now, when we set Cherry up initially, we chose a par level unit based on how we said we wanted to count each of the products in this list. So for black olives, we said we want to count it by the can, the number 10 can. If we decide that's a poor choice somewhere in the setup, if we decide, well, we use so many black olives, it's easier for us to just count them by the case, you could always just switch that by clicking the radio button at any point during the setup of the list. Another tip I want to tell you about right from the beginning is I always recommend to people to start at the left side of this list and then work your way to the right and completely fill out Sunday all the way down, because you know me, I've put in different features to make repetitive work faster. I don't want you to be here all day, and honestly the very first time I did this it took me 7 hours. It should take you about 25 to 30 minutes today with the different features that I've built since the early days of Cherry. So starting from the left, it's important that you understand Cherry will not let you place an order on a day that you do not fill in a par level for. So make sure that with certain things like holiday schedules, or you never know if an ordering day might change with a supplier, or you might even bring in a new supplier that has a different ordering day. So just go ahead and we're going to fill out a par level for every single day of the week for every single item. And if you start on the left side and click the first checkbox for Sunday, what we're doing is we're going to say from Sunday to the next date of replenishment, which for this example we'll say, let's say this business orders say Monday for Tuesday delivery and then Thursday for Friday delivery. Now, why am I starting with Sunday? Because honestly, in most businesses, the par level from Sunday to this Thursday and from Monday to this Thursday are going to be pretty close to the same. And when you see the way this sets up, you'll understand why I put Sunday first. Because par levels typically grow in most restaurants from Sunday as the week ages. So if we were to say we need from Sunday to the next delivery date, which is Friday, we need to have at least a case of black olives, then we want to make sure that we have 6 cans on our shelf on Sunday. So if we have 6 cans, is that okay? Yes, it probably is. And if we have 5 cans, then we're going to get another full case delivered to make sure that we don't run out. So we're going to go ahead here and we'll just go ahead and fill in 6. and then just start going down the list. Now on tomatoes, let's just say this business needs to make sure, and like I said, you're going to put more thought into this. This is just for demo. I'm going to say they need 11 cans. And then pasta sauce, let's say they need 8 cans. Pineapple, let's say they need 4. And just keep going down the list. Now, something that's cool, the green arrows. Let's say for the next few items you see a string of things that'll be the same number. So let's say the red peppers is also, let's change that to a number 10. We accidentally filled it in that we're going to count it by the case. And let's say it's also 4. Now I could type in 4, or I can just click the arrow. And by clicking the arrow, it puts 4 the whole rest of the way down the list. And then I just move to where it's not 4 anymore and continue. So you can see this is going to take you a little bit of thought. One thing I want to point out to you is for something like this item, bag-in-the-box Coke. Now, you could count it by the number of gallons within the box, or if it's a high-use item like Coke is for us, maybe you want to count it by the box itself. And we like to always keep at least 2 cases on our 2 boxes on our shelves at all time of Coca-Cola. Now, with Diet Coke, we also want to keep 2 cases on the shelves, so we're going to go ahead and change that to 2, or we could just copy down from here and then start moving down the list. And to be honest with you, I like to keep 2 boxes of every single kind of soda on my shelves just because it's not perishable, and I like to make sure I never run out of any of the syrups. So you can see now copying the 2 all the way down really worked as far as saving me a little bit of time. Now, here's an interesting item to look at. Trash can liners. We don't want to count the 100 trash bags in the case. So with Cherry is more interested in rounding. And Cherry, in our setup, we told the software that there were 100 trash bags in the case, so Cherry knows it. So if we say that we want to keep, say, a quarter case of trash bags or a half case, Cherry knows that's 25 or 50 bags for food cost purposes, and when you're doing counting, we'll use those rounded numbers. But if you want to make sure that you get another case, full case, and if a half case is enough, then put in something like 0.4 or 0.3, whatever it might be. And then when you do your inventory, you're going to count that in that same way. So a half case is fine, but if I go under a half case, I want to make sure that I get some. So I'm not going to bore you with filling out every single item here. However, I am going to pick a few items out that I would like you to think about, because inventory really can work and par levels can work in 2 different ways. There are the items that you use a lot of, and like in a pizzeria, it might be something like mozzarella cheese. And there are items that come packed in pretty good size packages that maybe your par level needs to be set to trigger reorder of a single case when you get to some point within that case. And a good example of that is always toilet paper for us. So we have that. We're going to look at the toilet paper by the case. I'm going to actually change that to the roll. And the reason that I'm going to change it to the roll is it's spec'd out at Torque brand toilet paper, and it's always going to be 36 rolls per case. And 36 rolls of toilet paper in our restaurant wipes a lot of butts, and we don't need to have that much. I don't need to ever have more than 1 case. So what I need to make sure is if I ever get down to 6 rolls, that we trigger the ordering of another case of toilet paper. So that's what I'll set my par level to here. And then the second example would be, like I said, more of the higher use items, something that you're going through cases and cases and cases of. So let me get down here. I'm going to scroll all the way down until I find the dairy products, and in particular, the mozzarella cheese. Here it is. So we have that it's going to be counted by the pound. We're going to go ahead and switch that to the case. And Cherry knows how many pounds are in each case from each supplier. So we're going to say that we need to make sure that we have at least 12 cases of mozzarella on our shelves to get through to that next Friday. Now, I'm going to stop with Sunday at this point, even though there's a lot of stuff obviously left to fill in. You don't need to watch me do an entire day. I think you pretty much get it, and if you don't, call me, I'll help you. But what you do after you've completely filled in Sunday, one thing I want to point out is the reason I want you to fill in all of Sunday and work Sunday and then work your way over. If at any point you want to stop, you can click Save, and it will save the chart in its current form. And then you can come back to it, like if you get tired of doing this for a while, and come back to it and work on a little bit more later. And when you go back and hit Edit, it brings the chart back up. As long as you haven't filled in all of these other numbers, it brings it back up incomplete. So you can continue working on this chart at any point in time. Now, once you do this, that ability kind of starts to go away. But the cool thing is most of the heavy lifting has already been thought out. So rather than you have to do this again for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, just go ahead and click Copy All. And now most of the par levels on your stock is going to stay the same, whether it's Monday or Tuesday. But about 20 to 30% of the items will increase at a later order day in the week. And for this business, let's go ahead and say that that happens on say Wednesday, if Wednesday was the order date. So now what we're thinking of is we need to get back from Wednesday all the way back through to the next order date, which is going to be Monday for Tuesday. So we'll start going down the list, and maybe to get through the weekend, maybe we need to make sure we actually have 9 cans of black olives, and then say you need to have 16 cans of tomatoes. And, you know, certain things are going to bump up. But then you'll start going down here, and then other things like the Coke, well, 2 gallons is still going to be sufficient for all of the box sodas. So I don't have to redo the par levels for the things that don't change, only the things that do change. So be careful with how you use these arrows moving forward, because remember, you're going to change everything that's underneath. So just be careful. And once you've gone down through Wednesday, or whichever day it is that you've picked, to increase the par levels, you can, instead of having to do it again for Thursday or Friday or Saturday, which are going to be, if an order happened to fall on those days, would probably be a higher amount. You could just go ahead now and copy Wednesday all the way forward to the end of the week. And finally, the last piece of explanation, some people have 3, even 4 order days in a week. If you need to go down and do a higher par level for, say, some businesses have real heavy duty orders that come in on the weekends. I know some of our bars do that. You can do this again and do copy all again all the way over. So it should be pretty much self-explanatory at that point. When you're finished, go ahead and click Save. And you'll notice now that the steps are all cleaned up as far as work that needs to be done. So you now have all your items in place, and if you've done your supplier setup, you're ready to go ahead and start using Cherry and placing orders. If you have any questions, please get in contact with us. I always point out, you know this at this point in every video, that we have our help icon on the dashboard, and you can always get in touch with me by phone or email. Have a cherry day.